Hello, this is Mike Foreman from Game Plan Retirement with another episode of Let's Ask Mike. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you're finding these helpful. A lot of questions have come in recently about terms that sound familiar, but for some folks, and even for some of us in the finance profession, we need to kind of brush up occasionally. So I thought I'd talk a little bit about economic indicators today. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is just inflation, which we all know is the increase in the cost of goods. There's the way they measure it. There's different measures that the Bureau of Labor Statistics, which shout out to my unfortunately deceased brother-in-law, Jeff Foster, who spent most of his career as an economist with the Bureau of Labor Statistics. But you can go to bls.gov and get the most up-to-date indicators of inflation. And the most common one utilized is the CPI-U, or the Consumer Price Index for urban environments. And basically they take a basket of goods and they monitor their increase or decrease in price over time. And that is how they come up with the inflation numbers. And this is a list of, or a graph that shows how that has changed over many years. And obviously it has changed quite a bit. So inflation are those periods when it goes up. Now, another question or another thing we talk about sometimes is deflation, which is quite simply just when those periods of time when that line actually goes down, the decrease in the cost of goods. Generally, the Federal Reserve is trying to maintain about a 2% inflation rate over the long haul, and they use interest rates to try and manage that, which is a little bit of a difficult tool to use to manage the entire economy, but that is what the Federal Reserve has. Now, there's also a term that comes up occasionally called stagflation. It's actually kind of rare, and it's only been used as a term since about the 1970s. It actually comes from Great Britain, but it's a rare period when inflation is increasing, but the unemployment rate is going up, is decreasing, and it's basically a slowing of the economy where more and more people are unemployed, which creates its own unique environment. Basically, again, the tool that the Federal Reserve has to maintain their goal of keeping inflation at about 2% and unemployment at under 4%. Is the short-term interest rates, which is just the interbank lending rate between institutions, or the very, very short term of this yield curve. And so just like any yield curve, this shows that the longer term a bond is issued, the higher interest it would have to pay. Occasionally, when all of these forces are swirling about, you'll end up with an inverted yield curve. And I've talked about this in other episodes, so I'm not going to go into too much on this right now, but sometimes this is used as it's seen as an indicator of an upcoming recession, which is when the gross domestic product reduces. So I'm going to leave it at that today. If you want to talk about it in more detail, please feel free to reach out. I want to thank you for tuning in to Let's Ask Mike, and I sincerely hope that you're finding it to be useful. Thank you again, and have a great day. Bye-bye.